Hi everybody, welcome to our day 6 of CakeFu Christmas mini-series. We are on our last day and it should be a fun one. So hopefully you guys are all here and having fun, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say hello to you guys on the chat. For those of you that aren't aware of how things work, there's a chat box on the right-hand side of the screen, and so you can go ahead and say hello there. You can log in if you want, so you don't have to remain anonymous. And yeah, it's pretty fun to be able to just chat and say hi. Our little mini trainings, I know they haven't been quite as active as our regular trainings, but it'll be fun to have these available for next year and years to come. So, okay, I'm just saying if you can't see me, then go ahead and hit refresh. Okay. And we are good to get started. Okay, so all these last few days we have been doing some really fun things. Day 1 was a wafer paper bow. I don't know what happened to it. I must have put it somewhere or used it. I don't know. But a wafer paper bow. And then day 2 was, what was day 2? Was that the tree? I think day 2 was the little mini Christmas tree. Or maybe that was day 3. One of the days we did a little angel, like a little nativity angel topper, which was really cute. A little mini Christmas tree with an actual mini cake, and I showed you how to bake that without having to sculpt or anything. It's really fun. Day 4, what was day 4? Boy, you guys might have to help me remember. It's been just a blur. Boy, what was day 4? I know I had something. Oh, yeah. It was the Rocky Road cake pops. And then day 5 was the sugar cookies. Yesterday was sugar cookies. And I loved how they turned out. They were just so cute. These little, just triangle pieces that, represent a Christmas tree. Something really simple, something really easy, something you don't even need a cookie cutter for. It's so basic and simple, yet a really great effect. So loved it. So today, our last day, we're doing, oh, I got black all over me. We're doing an actual cake, an official cake. Okay, so we have a Christmas little snowman hat. We have, the story of Frosty the Snowman and the hat that comes alive and all of that. So what we have for you today is this fun little hat, and we're gonna make it wintry and cute and fun. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what we've got here today. Change the angle of the camera, make sure everything's fairly cleaned up. I know there can be so much stuff when you're doing projects like this that it looks like you're just in such a disaster, but I have everything organized in the way I want it to be. So hopefully you guys don't think I'm just like, craziness. So, all right, we will switch the camera angle here, and you guys can see my project that I've been working on. Okay. So what I have here, let's go ahead and move some of these things. I think that's pretty good. Move those right there. Okay, so what we have is just a little hat. It's just a 6-inch by 6-inch tall cake, and I've already covered it and put it on a base. It's an 8-inch base. You can go 8 or 9 inches. You can even go 10 if you want it to have a nice wide brim. But I covered the brim with fondant also. what I really did with all of this, I didn't do black fondant. You can, if you would like to, use black fondant. If you do, I highly recommend that you use a already, you know, purchased pre-made fondant. I think that will help a lot in, yeah, because nobody wants to sit there and mix in black fondant. It's just a pain. So pre-made black fondant, or else some chocolate. You know, you can find them. Most fondant companies make at least a chocolate, if not a black. And you can see it's not perfectly covered. I was in a real hurry this morning. I just threw it on, and then what I did was I airbrushed it. So I just took some black airbrush. I covered this with white fondant and then airbrushed it black. And I think it gives a really nice effect. It makes it look, you know, shiny like a top hat would. And it's, you know, it's festive that way. It's really fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is, hopefully it's still really pretty wet. I wish I had done it about an hour earlier, let it have a chance to sit. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to put a band around his hat, put some holly, you know, little decorations on it. The official character version, you know, from the movie, the Frosty, he's wearing a flower, a pink flower, which I thought was very interesting. But that's the magical hat. But we're going to do something a little bit more, you know, Christmassy, not pink. So I thought we would do just a big holly, something really simple. So anyway, we're going to kind of winterize it, make it look like it's frosty. And I think that should be really fun too. And then that would be just about it for our cute little hat. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move him aside, and I'm going to roll out the strip for the hat band first before we do anything with our hat, because I want the band to set up a little bit. You know, I changed my mind. I'm going to show you guys the holly first. So this is so simple. You won't need a cutter for any of this. It'll be super easy. If you have a cutter for some holly, you know, go for it. But if you don't, I'm just showing you guys an easy, quick way of achieving that. Oh, I left my ruling too. Okay, so I'm going to show you a quick, easy way of achieving that holly look, you know, leaf look, without actually needing a cutter. And we're not going to vein it or anything like that. What I was going to do is I was going to put some edible glitter on it. I know it's not edible. I don't know why they call it edible glitter, but yeah, I think there are ways of making an edible glitter out there. There's some tutorials and stuff, but anything you buy in the store most likely is not going to be edible. So just be aware of that. But anyway, that's what I was going to do with it, just dust it with some of the glitter, and I misplaced it this morning. So we're just going to pretend that it has glitter on it. And I'll take a picture of it later for you so you guys can really see what it really looks like. Okay, so what I have is just a piece of fondant. You can use gum paste if you would like, or modeling chocolate, or whatever. It's totally up to you, totally your preference. I've taken fondant and I've added some Tylose. Usually when I do flower making and I really want it to be, you know, really detailed and, you know, true to life, botanically correct, I guess, I would definitely use gum paste. So, you know, fondant you just can't roll out as thin. So anyway, here is our quick version of just a piece of holly. So we're going to do just what kind of shape is that? It's not an oval, because it's got the little thing, football shape, whatever that is, leaf shape, I don't know. We're going to do this shape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to cut in just a couple little circles. if you want to be really precise, you can actually take some kind of a cookie cutter or an icing tip, the back end of a really large icing tip, and do that. But since we're just going fast and it doesn't have to be perfect, we're just going to take our rotary blade and we're going to kind of cut into it just a little bit. 1, 2, and 3. You want 3 or 4? Well, I'd go 3 or 5 if you're wanting to. Even or odd numbers always look better. My font is starting. The Tylos is starting to take over and take effect, so it's kind of looking funky. But anyway, so that's the effect that you get with the holly. Really simple, really basic. And I have some that I've already cut out here. They're drying. Hopefully they'll be dry enough by the time we need to apply them. And then the other thing we need for holly, of course, is berries. So we're going to add some little berries. What is that? I don't know what that was. A little red dot. Oh, do you know what it was? It was the little dot that goes on the top of the food coloring bottle. I wonder how that got in there. Okay, so what we have is just some red fondant, which my husband was so kind to make for me because I said, I'm in a hurry, please, can you make some? So we're just gonna roll these into balls. And it's really simple. The way that you make a ball that doesn't have any creases or anything in it is by squishing it while you roll. And when you squish it while you roll, that gives you, it heats it up and makes it all mush together. And then you have a perfect little ball with no lines and creases. And I think that I explained that on the second day when we did the angel. But anyway, squish and roll. Okay, there's number 2, and we're gonna make 3 of them. We're making them pretty big because I want them to be, we're not making this like actual, you know, realistic holly. We want it to be big and bold and just a big accent piece. Okay, so, and I don't have any Tylos in this, so hopefully it'll set up well. All right, so there we go. We've got our holly all figured out. And now we'll roll out the band. And hopefully by that time our cake will be set up enough that we can get, get it all put together. Okay. All right. So you knead it just a little bit. And then what I like to do when I'm rolling out strips, because, you know, a band is a strip. So what I like to do is I like to actually roll it into a log first. And then you can start rolling it out. I just think that that gives it a better chance at, you know, making the length and everything that you want it to be. Okay, so we're gonna start, make a little bit thick. We want a nice thick band. Oops, this thing always slides around on me. Okay, and I see we've got some air bubbles. My little Megan that was here with us yesterday, she colored the gray for me. Like I said, I was in a hurry. We're trying to do Christmas Eve stuff and do this at the same time. And it's not the easiest thing to accomplish. So I'm rethinking how I do things for next year. All right, so here we have our band. We want to make sure that it's long enough. If you really feel like you need to measure it, basically what you do, you take the 6 inches that it is, times it by pi, which is 3.14. So 6 times 3.14 would be roughly 19 inches, 19, 20 inches. So that's what you want to make sure that you have is a good 20 inches. And I don't know if I should have had all this stuff out earlier. Okay, so I've got my ruler, and I can see that it's an 18-inch ruler, so I can see that we've got plenty for our band. But what I need to do is I need to make it so that it's even I like to get a nice straight line. I don't know how else to do that than with a ruler because I don't have the most steady hand. So we're gonna do this. If you really want it to be perfectly straight, you know, there are tools out there that you can actually measure and gauge and then, you know, just cut a strip. But if you don't have that, which I do, but I don't have it with me, you can just, what I like to do is, let's say we're gonna make it 2.5 inches because that's about how, that's our widest part. So I'm just gonna take, oh, you guys can't see that. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the ruler, if you can see that, measure 2.5 inches up in just a couple of places all the way along. 2.5 inches. And, oh, you saw my bare feet again. Oh, well. Okay, and then that's where you will cut. It's easy to, oops, I moved my ruler. We'll clean that up a little bit. Okay, so then it's easy to just cut along that line. Trying to keep it out of your way so you can see it, but also get a good cut. Anyway, so there we go. And I didn't cut it all the way through, apparently. There we go. All right, and then you can just cut off the ends. That's a goofy there. Okay. So then we have our band, and we are going to let this sit for a minute. We don't want to put it on right away because the second you pick it up, you're messing it up, and we don't want it to mess up. So we are going to just let it sit for a few minutes, and that's the trick to getting nice, straight, smooth everything. Okay, so onto our hat. We'll set this over to the side. Our hat here. It's drying. It's not all the way there, but it's close. Okay, so what we have now is we're going to make it look like it's frosty. And we're going to accomplish that with some royal icing and a paper towel. And we're going to also pipe it. Okay, so here we go. We've got some royal icing that I have taken and thinned out, and I don't have anything to mix it with. It's not super thin. Oh, can you even see that? That's okay. There. So I've just thinned it out a little bit. It's not like really super thin, but you know, it's not like a poured royal icing consistency quite yet. It's still pretty, you know, it can hold its own a little bit. Okay, so anyway, you get the consistency. That's what we're going to use. And we're going to just take our paper towel and we're going to crumble up our paper towel. Just wad it up like that. Okay, and then we're going to open it back up because that's going to give us a bunch of different surfaces. And then we're going to wad it up again. Okay, so I know it's kind of silly to do it, you know, twice, but I find that it gives more grooves and more definition. So I have one that I've wadded up and one that is flat. So I'm going to take this one that's wadded up, I'm going to dip it into the royal icing, I don't know if you can see that, got the lighting just really off today. Anyway, it's got royal icing on it, as you can hopefully see. And instead of just starting dabbing on there, you're going to get good globs. So what I do is I'll take it and I'll dab it on the paper towel first. One, to test it and see how it's going to react. And two, to just get off a little bit of the excess. Because we don't want it too, you know, gloppy. We want it to look like snowflakes and frost. So, after we have that accomplished, then we're just going to start and kind of stipple it onto the cake. And every time you dip your royal icing, you're going to dab it on that paper towel. And we have to make sure that it comes up higher than our hat band. We don't want it to be hidden once we get the band on. But you get the idea of how this is going to look in the end. You can put on as little or as much as you would like. And as you can see, I have some black from the hat, from the airbrush color. But apparently it's not doing any real pulling away color or anything like that. So I feel pretty good about things. All right. And get some down here on the, need to get a little bit in the corners. Just kind of stuff it in there. Okay. And this is going to leave a really big, impression and effect on this hat. Otherwise, it would just look like a top hat. I really like the idea of making it, that frosty, snowy look. Okay, the camera's not showing all the little bits in there that hopefully you guys can. I'll take pictures of it afterwards so you guys can see what it looks like in the end. Okay, I'm just gonna keep layering it until we get the thickness or the whiteness, the frostiness that we want. You can go as light or as heavy as you want. Either way. And I think I'm going to put just a little bit up on a corner here. I'll do this corner right here. You can see that. Just a little bit up on the corner of the hat, just to give it that extra little frost. Okay, so that was fast and easy, right? Okay, so now we're ready to attach our band. We just use a little bit of water and a paintbrush. My paintbrush has royal icing on the end of it. And we're just going to brush on a little bit of water here. The royal icing, it might be wet enough still that you can just put it on and the royal icing will hold it, but there is a chance the royal icing will dry and it won't hold. So we'll just put some water on it. Okay, and then we're going to take our, let's see, we're going to have this be the spot where our holly is, because I like the frost on the side with the little holly right here. So this is where I'm actually going to put the line of the band. And the reason why is because the holly will cover that up. And then when I'm putting on, you can roll this up if you want. I would suggest dusting it with some cornstarch before you do it. Or I just kind of put it between my fingers and let it drape between my fingers. And that will keep it from flexing. Except for I haven't let it set quite as long as I normally would. But anyway, rolling it is a really good idea if you have a much larger tier. But if it's a really small tier like this, I don't worry too much about that. I just grab it and throw it on. Okay, so then we're gonna kind of blend it in a little bit, as much as we can, in just a few seconds. And then wipe off my hands because I got black on me. Okay, and then we have, I don't know what I did with my fondant smoothers. They are not here. I will just smooth it by hand as much as I can. Put this over here. Okay, dry off my hands a little bit so I can smooth it out. And a little bit of cornstarch on my hands so it doesn't stick. And we'll just go around and rub it on. Oops, move the cake. Okay. So you can get this a lot more smooth and perfect if you have your fondant smoother, but I don't have it with me right now. So anyway, there is our hat band. If you would like, you can add the snow frosty effect to the hat band, but I kind of like it just on the hat. I think it cleans it up a little bit, makes it look just a little bit more, I don't know the word, clean. More purposeful, I guess, is what I was going for. All right, so here's our holly, and I've had it sitting in, these old Wilton flower formers. Anything you want to give it a little bit of shape. It doesn't have to be anything specific. So, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I was gonna pipe on some snowflakes, and I forgot to do that before we put on the hat band. So you know what, we're just going to work around it. Okay, so I have some royal icing here. And I thought it would be fun to pipe some snowflakes on to make it look a little bit more, just a little more festive. Okay, so we're just gonna do a line this way, and a line this way. And then, let's see, we'll have a little circle here. I wish that I could have done this before before I put the band on. But anyway, we're just gonna pipe on one or two, just so you see the effect that it gives. Okay, you see the idea of just putting a few snowflakes on there. You can do, I don't know, however you like to do your snowflakes. And every snowflake is different. So however you want to pipe out your little snowflake is wonderful. But yeah, so do that around. I completely forgot that part. Before you put on the band, or you can do it afterwards too if you want. It's not a big deal. Okay, but just so you get the idea that that's what we were planning on doing. And since I have a bag of royal icing, I'm going to stick my holly on with the royal icing instead of the water, just because I think it's just a little bit more firm, that's all. Okay, and it's really soft still, so hopefully it stays really soft. I made it like right before I started. So yeah, there we go, a little bit of royal. One on either side, and then we'll put one sort of in the middle. We don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical because, nature isn't symmetrical. So we'll just put it off to the side a little bit, like that. Okay, there you go. And you don't need to worry about that mess in there because we will cover that up with our little balls, but I would cut off the excess right there. Okay, just so that we have room to fit our little holly balls, the berries. Okay, a little bit of royal icing. A little bit goes a long way with stuff like this. You don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, I think I may have made my berries a little bit bigger than I was anticipating, but that's okay. We will have a nice big bold effect. Like that, and like that. And look at that, we have such a cute, oops, we've got stuff all over the place. There you go, there is your final product. Cute little Christmas cake. It's so easy, so fast and fun. Everybody's gonna love it and think you spent, forever on it. And you can say, yes, yes, I did. It was just a labor of love and you're welcome. So there you go. Thank you guys. You know what? Let's see if we have any questions really fast. We probably don't. We'll check and see. No, no questions. Okay, so there you go. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for always being here and watching these trainings with us. And I am so glad for all the things that have been happening with CakeFu this year and recently. We had a lot of things happen this year as far as getting here and moving and building the studio, and all kinds of things have happened this year. So but it's been a really great adventure, and I really appreciate all of you guys and sticking with us. And I'm gonna hold up this little cake here for you. There you go. Cute little cake. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hope you guys have a really Merry Christmas, wonderful Happy New Year, and we will see you guys all next year. We've got really big plans. Everything's going to be great. So we'll see you then. Bye.